Hello everyone, welcome to today's session where we are going to continue our analysis of the poem The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot. And as it is part third, so I hope that you are familiar with the context where this central figure, J. Alfred Prufrock, has to make a proposal to one of the ladies gathered in a room where a party is going on, but being an indecisive, irresolute and a timid person, he has no courage to do so. And we are also noticing from the very beginning that he is imagining one argument after another against the act of his proposal to his lady love. Arguments such as he has enough time to propose, he is middle-aged and she is young, and even if he decides to propose, he doesn't know how to begin with, etc., etc. So such are the arguments which he gives in the favor of his procrastination or denial of proposing his lady love. And we also notice that this whole drama occurs in the mind of Prufrock, as physically he remains at the same place. He is not moving anywhere. It is everything is going on in his mind. It is his introspection, or it is his thoughts, his inner feelings and thoughts, which he is thinking, in which he goes further or taking advances. So let's begin our reading of the poem, where Prufrock says, "And I have known the arms already, known them all, arms that are braceleted and white and bare." So here Prufrock is asserting that he is familiar with the society women, and so much so that he knows that how their arms look like. They are braceleted, they are white and uncovered, but in the lamp light, downed with light brown hair. So he is so familiar with the ladies that he even knows that if we see the arms against the lamp light or in the lamp light, we can see that the hair or the hands are actually covered with light brown hair. And next, is it perfume from a dress that makes me so digress, arms that lie along a table or wrap about a shawl? So here he's imagining, or he is remembering, not imagining, actually he is remembering here that is it the scent of the female dress that makes him so distract or so digress, or which makes him remember, which takes him, or which takes his memory to the arms of the ladies which are lying along the table or clasping a shawl with their light brown hair. So this is what he imagines, or which he thinks. Now here one thing is equally noticeable, that even the thoughts of arms, etc., of the women have not infused enough courage in Prufrock to make his marriage proposal or to speak out his mind. And should I then presume? So here again he is at the same position where he says that if I becomes bold enough to speak out my mind, or to declare my love to my lady love, and should I then presume, how should I begin? But the main problem now is that how should I begin? How should I start conversation with the lady whom I love? Shall I say I have gone at dusk through narrow streets? So now here he is imagining, or here he is thinking over the possible beginnings, several beginnings, where he thinks that how can he introduce his subject in a proper way. Shall I say I have gone at dusk through narrow streets? So he is imagining, or he is thinking that should I begin with a description of the evening, where I can begin that I went through the narrow streets and watched the smoke that rises from the pipes of lonely men in shirt sleeves leaning or looking out of windows. So here he is thinking over this possibility that should I begin from these trivial matters, because he has which is also indicative of the fact that he has nothing, or nothing grand to talk about. So he's thinking that should I begin by talking about trifles like watching the smoke and rises from the pipe and lonely man. And here one more thing, that he is also Prufrock is also finding this reference very significant, because by hinting towards the lonely man in shirt sleeves, he may indicate his own loneliness and boredom to the lady, due to which and this boredom and loneliness of Prufrock, which has compelled him to seek relief in marriage and love. So he can, in this way, he can indicate, or he can hint his own loneliness and boredom too. And as a reader, we can also interpret that this image of lonely man in short sleeves leaning out of or looking out of windows is also giving us the essence of boredom and vacuity, characterized by a superficial city life. So this is what we can take from these lines. I should have been a pair of ragged claws scuttling across the floors of silent seas. Now here Prufrock is disgusted with his scrupulous mind, because he finds himself in the same situation. Even he has pondered over the beginning, but after that he finds himself in the same predicament, where he thinks that he can't describe his point of view, or he can't put his point of view. So very much disgusted with his scrupulous mind, he prefers the life of a simple creature in the beds of the sea. The simple creature who scuttling, who runs here and there, who moves quickly in the floors of the silent sea. And that creature is a sea crab, because as there is a phrase, a pair of ragged claws. So a sea crab who has a pair of rough claws and who moves very quickly across the floors of the silent sea. Now here we can take that Prufrock's smallness and his inability to act make him think, or make him compare himself to or make him think of a small creature or a sea creature like crab, who at least acts. As we know that when driven by natural instinct, he rushes towards his prey. Crab rushes towards its prey and seizes it with its claws and devours it in the very next moment without any thought. Whereas man, in the contrast of crab, man who thinks before and after, who looks before and after and procrastinates. So here he is preferring to be a pair of ragged claws, who at least moves, who at least acts. And the afternoon, the evening, sleeps so peacefully. Now in this line there is a very clear hint that Prufrock is again looking outside, where in the outside, in his surroundings, he finds a reflection of his own tired self in the closing of the day. And the afternoon, the evening, as the afternoon and the evening appears to him sleeping peacefully, smoothened or comforted. They are sleeping just as they are smoothened or comforted by long fingers. Asleep, tired, or it malingers. And it also seems to him that they may be sleeping, or they are tired, or malingers means, or they are pretending to be asleep. They are pretending that they are sleeping, just like a sleepy person. And here, if you remember, the metaphysical image of etherized evening is reiterated here, as evening is shown as stretched on the floor in a very sleepy way, who is resting on the floor. The surroundings are resting on the floor here beside you and me, and as you know, me is Prufrock and you is his implied listener, probably his own split consciousness. So stretched on the floor here beside you and me. Should I, after tea and cakes and ices, have the strength to force the moment to its crisis? Now here again he has raised the problem by posing the old question that is it possible, or if after taking the tea and refreshment he can summon up enough courage to drive the issue or to force the issue and bring the matter to its crisis. And he also feels that by bringing this matter to its crisis, by bringing the matter of proposal to its crisis, to its final moment, he may stake his own life upon the issue. As in further lines it is clear, but though I have wept and fasted, wept and prayed. So here he is indicating that though I have, in my personal life, I have been persecuted enough, though I have seen my head grown slightly bald, brought in upon a platter. Now here, by comparing or by visualizing his head being brought in upon a platter, he is referring to John the Baptist of the Bible. There in Bible there is the prophet John the Baptist who condemned the King Herod, and who also rejected the advances of the dancing girl Salome, which enraged King Herod, and King Herod beheaded the prophet John the Baptist, and his severed head, the severed head of John the Baptist, was brought to Salome in a plate. So this was the incident, and here he is referring, Prufrock is alluding or referring to this incident from Bible, where we can find this analogy that here Prufrock is visualizing his own predicament, that such as John the Baptist was meted out when he annoyed the lady, when he annoyed the Salome. So he is visualizing the same predicament for himself, that he may annoy the lady in doing so. I am no prophet. And in the very next line he is replying this, as in those lines he was saying the possibility that maybe after taking tea and refreshment he can summon up the courage to propose. But here again he is replying in a way, he himself is replying in negative, that I am no prophet and here is no great matter. That he is familiar with the fact that he is not magnanimous or enough brave like John the Baptist, and his matter, his problem is not as magnanimous or as enormous like John the Baptist, but actually he lacks the moral courage to propose or to bring the issue further. I have seen the moment of my greatness flicker, as he is saying that I have experienced in my life many moments when I have experienced that at the moment of my greatness, at the moment of my achievement, at the crucial moment of proposal, I have observed my hesitation. I have seen the moment of my greatness flicker, wavered. Due to my wavering mind, I have seen my hesitation many times, and I have seen the eternal footman hold my coat and sneaker. And he is saying that due to my cowardice, Prufrock is saying that due to his cowardice, when he finds himself in the grip of death, here eternal footman is for death, that due to his cowardice, when he finds himself in the grip of death, when eternal footman hold his coat but mocks at his cowardice, but he also experienced that even death let him survive, and by mocking at his cowardice. I have seen the eternal footman hold my coat and sneaker. And in short, I was afraid. And in short, due to my nervous nature, due to my diffidence, due to my timidity, I couldn't make this happen. I couldn't propose, or I couldn't bring the matter forward. And would it have been worth it after all? So now, during his introspection here, Prufrock is thinking over the matter from a different angle. As we can see that he is saying, and would it have been worth it after all? That would it be worthwhile? That after the cups, the marmalade, the tea, among the porcelain, among some talk of you and me, would it have been worthwhile to have bitten off the matter with a smile? That will it be worthwhile that after having the tea, marmalade and snacks served in a very fine porcelain, very fine chinaware, after taking these all things, after having all these social formalities, among some talk of, and after having small social talks between you and me, would it be worthwhile to have bitten off? Here bitten off means to begin, broach or to begin the matter, to introduce the matter with a smile. He's saying that even if I manage to do so, if I manage to begin the matter with a smile, would it have been worthwhile? Will it have any worth to have squeezed the universe into a bowl? Because if he does so, for him it will be an act of superhuman courage to bring the matter, to bring forward, or to take the matter forward with a smile, to introduce the matter with a smile. It will be an act of squeezing the universe into a bowl, just like a superhuman act, by squeezing the universe into a bowl, to roll it, to drive it forward, to drive it towards some overwhelming question, the question of marriage proposal. So will it be worthwhile to introduce the matter with a smile? And because for me, for Prufrock, in the case of Prufrock, it will be just like a superhuman act of squeezing the universe into a bowl and driving it towards, to say the question in question. How will he begin? What will he say? To say, I'm Lazarus, come from the dead, come back to tell you all, I shall tell you all. And he's saying that to say in the overwhelming question, while beginning my conversation with my supposed lady love, I'm Lazarus. So here he's referring to Lazarus. Lazarus is a biblical beggar who came back to earth from the hell. So in this way he was resurrected, or he was revived. So here what Prufrock wants to say by comparing himself to a Lazarus, that just like the beggar Lazarus, if he becomes able, if he makes himself able to revive from the dead, if he resurrects himself and come back to tell you all, and just like Lazarus, if he bare his heart to tell all of his life like a beggar. And this one more analogy, or one more reference we can take by Lazarus, that just like a beggar, I can tell, Prufrock can tell all his life, that just like a beggar, how my life is, where it is full of trivialities and trifles. So I am Lazarus, I can resurrect myself, but will it be worthwhile if one settling a pillow by her head should say, that is not what I meant at all, this is not it at all? Now here Prufrock is sharing his apprehension that okay, I will do everything, because in my specific case it will be just like a superhuman courage to bring forward this matter of love proposal or marriage proposal to my lady love. But if I manage to do so, but what if the lady whom I love, she remains, or she reacts in a very cold manner to my warm proposal? She might say, by settling her pillow by her head, she might just say, she may just respond in a very cold manner by saying that Prufrock has misunderstood her gentleness, politeness and courtesies. What if this kind of response she would give? Because Prufrock is not ready to face any kind of refusal. He has no courage enough to face such refusal. He is very less confident already. So that is not what I meant at all. So what if the lady says that she has no love for him, and she has never inclined in that way for Prufrock? That is not it at all. And would it have been worth it after all? Would it have been worthwhile? So now, while pondering over all the possibilities, that having all the social formalities, if I would be able to seize a moment, would it be worthy enough? What will be the result? Now, so now here is he is ruminating over the consequence, over the response, over the reaction of the lady. Would it be worthwhile? After the sunsets and the dooryards and the sprinkled streets, after the novels, after the cups, teacups, after the skirts that trail along the floor, and this and so much more. So now here Prufrock is sharing his routine, his daily routine, that after all the social formalities and routines, such as after the sunsets at the dooryards and the wet streets, after reading all the novels, after having teacups, just like a social formality, and after the skirts, after watching the dance of the ladies whose skirts are touching the floor, and this and so much more, and these all exhausting kind of social formalities. After all this, if he becomes able to seize a moment to declare his love to his lady love, it is impossible to say just what I mean. So he is saying that after all these unnecessary or only just formal exhausting formalities, he thinks that he will be not in enough strength, or he will not find enough strength. It is impossible. He will not having enough strength to declare or to say his marriage proposal, or to declare his love in suitable words. It is impossible to say just what I mean in how can I say those all things in suitable words after all these superficial formalities or sophisticated superficialities. But as if a magic lantern threw the nerves in patterns on a screen, would it have been worthwhile? So here again, I would like to connect, or I'm connecting this line to the above lines, that if he will be able to, or if he manages to seize a moment, and if there would be a magic lantern which can show his inner feelings on the screen, just like a nervous system, just like the patterns of nervous system on the screen. If there would be any magic lantern that can show with such precision, just like nerves in patterns on a screen, would it be worthy enough? Because bearing the intentions of his heart to a lady seemed to him and a shameless exposure of his heart with all its nakedness, because he finds that it will expose his all excuse me, intentions of his heart. So, but as if a magic lantern threw the nerves in patterns on a screen, would it have been worthwhile if one settling a pillow or throwing off a shawl? So again, he is coming again, or that fear again overpowers him, that would it be worthwhile if the lady whom he loves, she just she may dash all his fervor of his love confession just by a simple act of denial, in saying so that it was not my intention, I never intended so, or there is not, I don't have any such intention in the direction of love. So again he is sharing his fear that if one settling a pillow or throwing off a shawl and turning toward the window, so what if that his supposed lady love, just settling over a pillow or removing her shawl and turning towards a window, she will just say that is not it at all, that is not what I meant at all, that she has no love for him, he has mistaken her gentleness, courtesies and politeness for love. So here this phrase turning toward the window is all again asserting the cold response of the lady, that what if she just not even take care of looking at him in replying, in giving him a reply of his words of love. or what if she may not show any concern for his love proposal. So this is not it at all. This is not what I meant at all. It can be the response of the lady. And with this line, I'm wrapping up today's session, and I look forward to see you in the next session, which will be the concluding one. Thank you for now.